I mean, it's an incredibly volatile stock around earnings. I think a lot is priced in at a PE here of 160 times, and enterprise value to EBITDA around 70 times. So look, I think Netflix is doing great. I think they're going to have good subscriber growth tonight, and I think that's the most important thing for the stock near term. But so much is baked in that it really makes me kind of suck in my breath to think about kind of chasing this aggressively after all of this kind of run that the stock has had at this point and what the valuation's implying.
So what would you want to see? What would you wait for?
Well, look, I think that the real question is, are we going to see a re-acceleration? I think we've seen U.S. sub-growth decelerate. We've seen international start off strong, and we'll see if they're able to sustain, the early kind of launch push that they've had. I think, is this an S-curve re-acceleration story? If it is, if we start to see that you get more kind of subscriber growth and acceleration, that would be surprising, and that's something that could get me interested. And we did some checks, Google search volumes heading into the quarter, and things were accelerating a bit. And a little bit of that I think is tied to the content. We'll see how sustainable that is as we go through the back half, and think about what that means longer term.
Rob, is that the key metric? Are we watching for subscriber growth? And what about the cost of content? Or do all the recent awards, et cetera, that they've gotten justify what they've been spending on it?
Well, look, I think there's... Go ahead, Rob.
Rob.
Sorry, that's right. I think the subscriber metrics are absolutely critical, particularly the international, because that's the market that's still open-ended and moving a lot faster. I think the ultimate question really is about earnings power, whether it's re-accelerating or not. It's what does it grow into, and what kind of cash flow can it generate when it gets to the scale that we think it will. And we just look at this, the subscriber momentum as a check post along that curve. And like to Barton's point, it's extremely volatile. It's not always linear. And I think we get another good indication that the international markets are still open-ended.
How do we judge? I mean, have you watched Glow, Michelle?
No,
I just started Glow. We had Hastings on at the Code Conference at the beginning of, I guess it was the beginning of June. It was one of the few shows that he pointed out by name. Rob, how do you judge the slate, as we call it in typical TV land?
Yeah, there's a big portfolio of content. I have had a chance to look at that program and a number of the other new originals, and they're fitting niche interest. I think Glow was one that he pointed out. I'm not sure that that's for everybody, but they have had a very hot hand in terms of allocating their programming budget, and I think that's the important key here. Is they spread it around. I think they have a incredible amount of information on what viewing habits actually are, and they make smarter bets than average. Not everything's going to be a hit, but compared to other programmers, I think they do have an information advantage, and they're a better allocator of their programming budget.
Rob, do you buy that? Because historically, when you watch, long time, the broadcast networks, throughout dozens of pilots for only a few to actually ever get on the air, that costs so much money to produce all of them. Is all of that data, put aside the gut that the studio director has about whether or not the audience is going to like it, does that data really give them that much of a leg up to reduce the number of, high cost, stuff that doesn't work?
Yeah. I think there's two parts. Well, the other thing is they're not confined to 16 hours of prime time like a linear programmer. So they have, from a merchandising perspective, have almost infinite amount of shelf space, and that's a key difference as well. They can cultivate niche interest and service genres much better than a linear programmer because of the amount of inventory they have and not being confined to prime time. The other thing is, I think they can aggregate audience better. You can get people involved in a story more quickly than having to wait 7 days for the second hour and another 7 days for the third hour of what sometimes can be a complex drama with highly evolved characters, etc. So there's some advantages from being an on-demand programmer for sure.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.